So today we are joined by Axeice, who is a Dragon Ball FighterZ player that you may recognize from House of Chaos and has made a name for himself by consistently winning the notorious event using characters that are considered by most professionals to be low tier. He will be attending Defend the North next weekend, which is going to be July 19th. So please make sure that you follow him on Twitter and Twitch to show your support, and I'll post the links to his accounts in the description below. So, getting into it for our very first topic, just tell us a little bit more about yourself, like what your history with the FGC is, what it's like being at the HOC, just what you got going on in your life for all that.
For the fighting game community, this is my second kind of official tournament. I started playing at Bums with Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, but I did hang out there a lot for many months, damn near years. Bum really wanted to put me in the Fighter Z tournaments where he hosted because he really saw a lot of potential, and look where I'm at now. So I'm pretty good in the FGC community right now. At HOC, it's just like, it feels like family. I knew some people there for over 8-9 years, like really long. I knew Scan before 15 years.
Damn.
Prodigy, Ray, a lot of people, I used to watch them from Ultimate Marvel times for damn near 6-7 years. So I kind of already had history with them. I used to go to Chinatown Fair with them when Next Level used to be in Chinatown. So this is really not new to me, but entering tournaments was really new. And even though I play with tournament players, entering a tournament still got me nervous and, chills and stuff. So it was a good feeling.
All right, cool. So as far as for the HOC, because, I mean, Bum's been doing this for a long time. Mind you, I'm pretty new to the FGC, but hearing him talk about the past and how long it's been going on, I mean, you can see the clip, even his donation for his little thing is from, like, old Yipes and him falling in the chair and shit like that. So, I mean, what do you think has made you kind of stick out to Bum? Like, what do you think he saw in you exactly? What was it that first kind of, like, clicked when he saw you play and things like that?
That's a good question. I mean, he saw what I was doing in Marvel versus Infinite Marvel Capcom, and from there he just saw me keep playing and getting more consistent. People who've been playing for, like you said, you saw like Bum doing this for 8-10 years. He watched people grow fast, people who just doesn't go anywhere, or even becomes decent, and other players will pass these players. I guess he saw something in me, and I really appreciate it because he pushed me into these tournament scene. It is really cool, especially seeing. I was watching Bum for a long time in the Ultimate Marvel scene, and it was really entertaining, and it feels good to have someone who could relate to.
Yeah.
In the fighting game community, not all uptight, kind of loose, say what he wants to say.
Oh yeah, for sure. On stream, hell yeah.
it's really cool to see that type of attitude. So it's something different.
Yeah. And as far as for the HOC, I mean, I think a lot of people kind of overlook this, that, and you guys kind of mention it, that it's a brutal event as far as for that it's goes on every single week. But I mean, there's always somebody who steps up who will make top 3 or win the event or something like that. What do you think has made you so successful, considering that you're playing the same people, but nobody can always get like a leg up over you? You seem to always be the most consistent player that's probably there.
I mean, I don't blame what you said. HOC is probably really brutal. I mean, come on. Some days you could have Sonic Fox at the house, which he'd travel around the world and kill Sage for like 3 weeks straight, and Nakio and stuff. So you have to be ready. It's just no easy time over there. What I feel like, I when I win my tournaments and people like to commentate me, I always say this one thing: I like to enjoy my game. I lose, I don't get upset as much as someone else would. You lose, you put in money, you play, and you didn't get as far as you want, or you lost because you made a mistake, and you really get more frustrated like that. That's life, and it's fine. But I don't really take it that seriously, where it's like, damn, why did that player did that? It made no sense, or he's mad stupid. If something does go down, I will 100% blame myself and I will use that blame for like if you make a mistake in a test, you're gonna know the answer for the next time.
Yep.
And that's what I do. I always fight like that. I always tell myself like that in life and video games. I made a mistake. I know what to do for the next time. I might have to get caught by it 3 or 4 times to learn my mistake fully, but that's how you should grow and learn.
The-
Every character has the ability in Dragon Ball to 2H, right? To
Yep.
anti-air. If you are getting hit by super dashes a lot, or your opponent is doing something repeatedly, you shouldn't be getting caught by it. Everyone has the same answer. You just have to acknowledge it, and that's it. That's the way I like to play.
So I really like what you said as far as for your mentality for that, for life, for not that it's a learning experience, right? That you have to focus on that specifically. How much do you think of that mentality holds people back for them not doing that? Because you see a lot of people that always say, oh, it's my character, or, oh, I'm not having success because I'm not playing maybe like a top tier or something like that. Do you think that for most people, of course, probably casual players and even lower, I guess you'd say semi-pro players, people like that, how much do you think that that really holds them back from not having that mentality and not learning, not reviewing their gameplay and stuff like that?
That could go in both ways, and I could explain
Okay.
that right now.
Yeah.
So, for example, one thing me and my friend was talking about, shout out to Thief, that it doesn't matter. A top tier character is many reasons why a character is good. You know, it's statistics, it's facts, it's not an opinion, and they are reasons why people use certain characters. If a casual player, like I mentioned before, who doesn't even know his own mistakes and can't even simply stay on the ground and anti-air an opponent's super dash, using a character who has the ability to have more answers for things won't do them any good. And it's that simple. So having a top tier character like GT Goku and Bardock on the same team may look good and may sound good because all the other top tier players are using them, but it's not doing them no good. Especially because GT Goku don't have neutral. His neutral is really trash. Like a lot of people saying, oh, he got good neutral and stuff. But if you ask Nokami, Kill Sage, or anyone that's good, they will understand why that character cannot do what Super Saiyan Goku could do. Same thing with Bardock. I always prefer fighting Bardocks, especially people who not really good with them because he has no neutral. I could outzone him. I could do things that their opponents doesn't know how to battle against. So when you have two characters that may be very good statistically, but don't know how to use them or don't even know how to understand the game properly, those characters become mid-tier because they don't understand the game itself. So using a character that you feel comfortable with and you want to learn more than just the shell of the character, you could probably get better with it. But get better with the game, get better with the flow, and maybe even enjoy it more. And then once you enjoy it more, wouldn't you want to play more and do stuff that no one else does? At least for me, that's how I see things.
Yeah. No,
I
go ahead.
I understand it is about winning sometimes, but if you're not winning with the best characters, that's what the best character people say. Maybe there's time to change. That's what I always told people.
Okay. So I do like what you said for that as well. For even if you play a top tier character, if you can't fully utilize their kit, I mean, then there's kind of no point for that, right? Aren't you better off playing a more simple character that you can get the full use out of than a top tier character that you only get like half the use out of, right? Because you'll be able to really excel and show how good that mid tier character, however you want to say it, is in comparison to that top tier character.
I mean, you can't get more basic than Bardock, but besides the character utility, it's the game mechanics that's the most important thing. A pro player could easily pick up Krillin, Beerus, and 18 or any character and will beat anyone with Goichi team if that person doesn't know what they're doing. If they're smashing the light button and super dashing a lot, they're gonna lose their turn and get open up way more, and they will lose consistently because of that.
Yeah.
They might be in the lead for tops 1 minute, but the good player will realize, okay, I know his weakness. Boom, it's over for that player.
Mm-hmm.
It's instantly over. So it's really bad.
Right. Yeah. So I guess this kind of comes back from your history in Marvel as well, probably for going into fighters, is that you have to consider what is the overall game plan, what is the structure of how you need to focus on your gameplay and whatnot, and then move that over to fighters. Because I think you could probably do that in any other game that you're going to move to. When fighters eventually maybe moves on and you pick up something else, you're going to apply the same exact thing, aren't you, to be able to...
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think a lot of people probably don't grasp that as far as for trying to break the game down. What are the basics? How do I expand on that? How do I exploit my character? What should I do and all that? Yeah, go ahead.
See, that's, I like what you said about that, because one thing about, if you watch a lot of good players and you watch people like Chris G, Justin Wong, I love bringing Justin Wong as an example for the Ultimate Marvel scene, because he used characters that was not considered to be top. But if you mention his name and his team, it was cheap. So I'm like, but it wasn't top tier, but they always avoid that fact and always say it was cheap. But so I'm like, I like to use that example. In Fighter Z, this is my first real competitive game where I guess I used characters who wasn't top tier. But it's hard for a team-based game in the first place to have 3 characters put together and have a low-tier team synergy. You could have characters that is bad by themselves, but when they put together, they gonna work. AKA Justin Wong team, And if you watch the last 6 years of Ultimate Marvel, you probably only gonna see one Storm, barely any Wolverine players, and don't get me started with Akuma. But with Justin Wong, he won Evo with that team, and he did his unique ways of winning with them. One thing he had the reaction where your opponent. I do this in Dragon Ball too. His opponent calls out an assist. Ultimate Marvel is a game where you need assists. He noticed your opponent's calling assist. He used Hellstorm with Storm. Boom. The assist is dead, just like that, and his opponent is already down, just like that. Right? Just a quick of his. All right, let me calm down. He realized that his opponent is doing it freely. He's realizing it where his opponent is thinking, oh, my opponent can't do anything. I'm going to just keep going. Same thing in Dragon Ball. There's certain people who rely on Yamcha assist and they just keep on super dashing. And because other people is not stopping them, they're going to keep going with it. And that's what happens in fighting game community, or in places where if you don't stop someone, if you don't stop someone, they're going to keep doing it because they think they're okay, right? If they think they're plusing something and your opponents keep respecting to block you, wouldn't they keep pressing a button on you?
Yeah.
So it's like that in anything you do, from old games to new games. I think that's the trick to it, honestly. Don't you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, so I mean, would you say that you have ever been, I mean, from Marvel, I guess, into fighters and anything like that? Do you play like a game on the side, like aside from fighters? Like, do you play any other type of game?
I love RPG games. I play shooting games. I play a lot of things.
Okay, so like
before Dragon Ball, when I was playing Marvel, even Ultimate, Infinite, anything, I love Blaze Blue. Blaze Blue was my first real competitive game when I was a kid. And I technically use top tier characters. I use Jin. I love Ice. You could hit from Axeice. So I use Jin, which was the Ice character. He was broken for like 3 or 4 years in Blaze Blue. I use Dante in Infinite, which he was freaking ridiculous. I use characters who I want, not because because they're low tier. It was getting annoying in Dragon Ball because of that. but I just use characters on their utility and their playstyle.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
And so, I mean, with all these games, though, like even if you're not focusing on an FPS game or any other type of category of game, I mean, I'm sure that you probably find at least decent success, whether even if it's casually for, hey, I understand how to break this game down so that I can at least do what I want to do in that type of game. Whether it's like a FPS, you understand, oh, I got to take cover here or work around my team in this way or all that other stuff. Like, it's just a mentality to have, right? That you can just apply that across so many different things.
Like Call of Duty. I mean,
Yeah.
who didn't play Call of Duty?
Yeah, that's for sure.
Sometimes you have games
Mhm.
where your teammates just completely suck and you know that you're not gonna win.
Mhm.
You just know. But that doesn't mean you should throw the game. There's people who just get themselves killed or be even more reckless when you know your team doesn't have your back.
Mhm.
And those are the times where you stay back and get the kills because you know they rushing your ass. And I know there'd be times where there'd be tryhards, or you be fighting a full clan or team,
Mhm.
and they be getting mad only at you because you know you're the only person that's wrecking them.
Yep.
And I like to do that, so that will motivate me. For example, in those Call of Duty games,
Yep.
I love we're like 20 and 50, but I'm the one that got the 14 kills, and they're so pissed that I'm killing them consistently by a way they're not expecting it.
Mhm.
I used to love going Commando Pro. I used to
Oh,
love
man.
using tactical knife. You know, no one used
Yep.
tactical knife like that, or at least was decent with it.
Uh-huh.
I used to love sniping, so I used to have that as a combination. So far range, boom, quick scope or
Yep.
whatever. Close range, no matter what, I just stab you one quick. And since it was a tactical knife, I was able to use my melee button again quickly.
Didn't that also didn't you have further reach as well or something like that?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
Certain Call of Duty games, when you use the tactical knife, you have like further reach.
I'm pretty sure I did
faster
that exact
melee.
thing you did as well, because you're mostly long range, but you'll position yourself in a way that you'll be able to still get somebody if they're that close to you, which they would be wherever.
Exactly. I mean,
So,
if you was
yeah,
a good sniper,
I
you didn't
got you.
have to worry about that.
Yeah.
But I like to change up my play style. It was cool. For RPG games, I love to take my time and grind and stuff like that. But if we talking about competitiveness,
Mhm.
like in PvP, my longest spree probably for online, besides like fighting games now,
Yeah.
was Dark Souls.
Okay.
I used to go ham in Dark Souls. I had like over 500 or 600 hours in Dark Souls 1 alone.
Mhm.
And what I did was just mostly PvP. We had arenas, or I evaded people, or it was like sessions,
Mhm.
and you was able to like have people just, so you invade someone, you saw someone else invade them, and it was a one-on-one duel. You wait until the other person finished their duel, and it was a very great scene. It was fun. Do you know anything about Dark Souls?
I don't, unfortunately. I seen a lot of gameplay and stuff like that, but I myself haven't really played too much of it.
Imagine so it was a 3D game.
Yeah.
So imagine something like Tekken, right, where you could go around your opponent.
Yep.
But you died in 3 or 4 hits.
Right.
So every block matters. When you parry someone, that parry really was critical because there was a 80% chance they could have died with that one parry, depending on your build. So I was playing a game where every crucial moves mattered.
Mhm.
There was some stages where you could just fall and die instantly.
Yeah.
You know, it's really cool. I love Dark Souls, and I could get into that with hours, but let's get back into Dragon Ball.
Yeah, no problem. All right, so for those of you that don't know, as far as for Axeice's current team, so unless this has changed, so I saw that it was base Goku, Nappa, and Goku Black. Is that the correct order for it?
Yes.
All right, and then of course you are also known for Android 17 as well. So when looking at characters specifically, and you kind of touched on this a little earlier, as far as for it's a team-based game, and individually the character might seem bad, but when you put them together, then they work very well. So what sticks out to you specifically whenever that you're picking someone over, like Goku Black over Super Saiyan Goku, or 17 over, which a lot of people are going to joke about and be like, well, why do you pick him over almost anybody at all when he's almost like one of the worst characters in the game, for what a lot of people will say?
So let's go with Goku Black,
Yep.
for example. I like how Goku Black's a character is so unique to me. He's a character I always would thrive for. I like the teleportations. I like the way um he interacts with combo strings, even though he is the biggest joke of the game to be like he can't mix up anyone.
Yep.
Then you have to open your opponent your another way, as I many tournaments videos alone has enough proof for me making 1 versus 3 comeback with Goku Black, and he's a guy that can't open up people, but yeah, I'm able to take care of a whole team by himself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you take care of 2 characters and make them use their Sparking, you should feel more confident. But I give people still I love the feeling that I still make people fear my single solo Goku Black. Oh wait,
Yeah, no problem.
I love the fact that I still make people fear my Goku Black with no Sparking when they still have 3 characters, and that's such a great feeling. I see utility, just like I said, with teleportations and stuff. And Goku Super Saiyan may have good Ki Blasts and stuff and kit, but I just sometimes don't like the straightforward approach.
Okay.
He has, his two special abilities. Down back kick is the rapid kick, and his down forward is the overhead punch. Very simple. It is nothing unique. You can't throw it out there, and it's just a blunt move. You like lariat for Bardock. It's something you just use for only situational, for basically only combos, and I don't like that.
Okay.
I could say the same thing for, let's just say, 17. I was able to abuse his kit. I was able to use his special moves outside of combos and use it for neutrals and to be more unique with it.
Okay. I kind of think I get where you're going.
So, like for example, his Exo Drive, when he randomly punches in the air, a lot of people, even to this day, probably don't know that's an anti-air.
Oh, okay.
From the beginning to end of the fist, when he's moving forward until he hits you, it's an anti-air.
Actually, I think I've been hit on that for super dashes. So that
exactly,
okay, yeah.
It beats out anything that's not projectile, basically. Yeah. So when my opponent's super dash, and you know how some players like to backdash or up jump. See, with 17, I had an autopilot move, so I could go into Exo Drive. He basically do the anti-air, but because it pushes him forward too, it will catch his backdash. It will catch his people who want to press a button because it was anti-air. And if people want to jump and come down with the button, guess what I could do? I could react to a counter with barrier.
Yep.
I was able to change a safe play style and make my opponent do something different, because if they didn't respect me even more, they will get open up and lose 50 to 80% of health.
Okay.
With Goku Black, if you guys or you see how I play with Goku Black, I abuse his 5S. I abuse his Ki Blast because, for one, it's plus 20 frames. Your opponents block it. If your opponent's block is 20 plus frames and they chicken block or in the air block it, you're like plus 25, 26.
Right, because the additional in the air,
means, right?
Yeah.
When you're plus 20 frames and you're able to move out of your special, you could full screen start a block screen. You could, if your opponent's blocked the Ki Blast, you could full screen start your turn, and it's a true block string. Something that's so unique that no one else has in the game, and people don't utilize that enough. That means I could Ki Blast and teleport.
Oh,
and your opponents
I see now. Okay.
Because if they try to 2H, I could bait it. If they sit there, that means I start my turn, and I have just options where my opponents could guess. If you see your opponent lariat with Bardock and then call an assist, it starts their turn, but they start their block string. No big deal with Bardock. His highs, his lows. It's hard to open up. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's hard, but at this point, people got accustomed to it.
Right.
With base Goku, I'd be catching people surprisingly with his 2SS when he lifts the Ki Blast from the ground.
Yep, and then
it's very unique. It catches people very high in the air. if people in the corner want to try to get out the corner, they kind of can't now because I'm locking them down with base Goku. I'm hitting them with my Ki Blast, and they're forced to come back down in the corner. No other character kind of can't do that unless you Oki or something like that. But you could riff your Oki. It's very easy to miss the timing. Your opponents could tech differently, and then boom, you get punished for it.
Okay.
I could go on for like certain other characters like Nappa. Cyberman saved me so many times.
Yeah, I was gonna say, actually, if you don't mind, I would love to hear, and I'm sure other people would love to hear about Nappa for sure. For that, just because I love how you're going into very specific things, because these are things that I feel people don't factor or consider. They might look at the character and then say, well, this character is similar. I don't even play this character much, so they're probably worse, but they don't spend time with
every
them.
character could be unique. I was hyped for GT Goku, just like everyone else, so believe me. But then I was playing with them, then I pressed the 5S, and I was like, what is this? And I had to drop him. Like I heard it was Power Pole, and I was like, I can't use this character.
Yeah.
His beam, I didn't like his beam.
Okay.
I didn't like his projectiles, and I didn't like his Rasengan. And that really threw me off. I knew the flaws that came with it, and I knew I want to be able to work with it. Me as a player, me as my ability, Axeice, no, I want to be happy with this, and I know I want to be comfortable with it, and using it as its fullest utilities.
Right, sure.
Anyone could use Bardock, but who would use Bardock as his best utility? I honestly think Sage, Lori, and a couple of other Bardock players could really use them better than even sometimes Goichi. But Goichi has the better in-game mechanics that just outshines everything what any other Bardock or any character they use, in my opinion.
Okay.
You see where I'm coming from right there. Remember the topic we talked about in-game mechanics?
Yep.
Someone like Goichi, Fenrir?
Fenrich?
Yeah. They know just the game themselves. So using a character which is really good in the first place, they just take an advantage at that point, and I can't blame them for that.
Sure.
But seeing a player where I think this character much I think is better for this person, they would shine more with them.
Right.
So I don't know. I think it goes both ways.
Okay. As far as so since we're kind of on characters that people don't fully explore and stuff like that, how much do you, or let me rephrase this a different way. How big do you think the gap actually is if you were to make a tier list or something like that? Because you see people that they'll do like S tier through F. Do you think it's probably more like S through like B, S through maybe like A minus or something like that? Like, what do you think about the gap in them in reality?
I've been on Twitter lately, and I've been surprised. You know, some of them have been jokes, but like some of them have been kind of serious in their opinions. And I've only been seeing like A through D.
Sure.
So it's no more like Krillin tier or Beerus tier. Thank God, because they still decent. Yes, they got a lot of flaws, which I think 1 or 2 simple patches could really fix them at this point. But yes, I do agree. I think it's like A through D, A through C.
Okay.
There's just certain things that outshine. Like, I'll always consider Kid Buu and Cell a very top tier character, top 10 easily. But I'm kind of glad people don't use them, because I still think they're very scary characters. Cell, a very good point character, has very high solo damage, so he doesn't really need an assist. If he has an assist, it's usually just to mix you up, honestly. And he has a good assist. Cell, Kid Buu, and Gotenks is a perfect example where if you look the past 8 months, people just follow. And when people follow, people lose the sight of great characters. Gotenks is still probably top 3 hands down because of his utility, his kit, and just what he could do as a character. He has too many things he could do, and it's that simple. He has the Ghost Okis. He has one of the best beams in the games, one of the best air Ki Blasts, floor Ki Blasts, air to air, 2 M's. He just got too many things that makes him so good. But because Kasanoko or people not using them now, they forgot about him. Just dust now in the rain.
So since we're talking about that for people dropping a lot of characters, I think that this is probably a problem for people looking at literally like the top 10 players in the world, right? Because I mean, being realistic, there's so many people that are never going to ever be close to that level. So these characters are, as you're mentioning, still probably very good for most people if they're able to utilize them, and they shouldn't drop them. But they're just following the trends of the elite of the elite, and that's probably is something that should be probably taken with a little bit more grain of salt for like the tier list, and like, well, this character is good for here and because of this and whatnot, but also for the biases that some of these people have, right? Because I mean, certain people like Goichi are probably going to rate Cell a certain way because they're thinking about the game in a different light than someone like you probably, or even Nakiao or Sonic Fox or anybody like that. Everybody's got like a little bit different way to think about it,
I
right?
mean,
So,
I don't care who you are. I'll always say Naruto Adult Gohan is
mhm.
probably the most galaxy brain Adult Gohan. And there's people who with 16. If I mention the best 16, a lot of people would say Kill Sage hands down. Like, I'm honestly glad he doesn't even use them. Even in this patch, I think Kill Sage with 16 would just still be very scary.
Hmm.
There's certain people who could click a lot better. A lot of people, when Bum commentate over for me,
Hmm.
Bum would tell you in a heartbeat, no, you think 17 is his best character. You should see his Goku Black or something like that.
Hmm.
People know at the least. Well, there's still a lot of people that underestimate my Goku Black, or just doesn't think he's my best, or
Right.
just just doesn't know enough about me.
Hmm.
But a lot of people knows how dangerous my Goku Black is because I click with them just so well.
Right.
I'm not able to feel as confident with him with any other character in the game. And it's that simple.
Yeah. So for that then, I mean, how much do you think that people should focus on their style and a character that they like in comparison to trying to focus on something else like for synergy or things like that? Because I mean, for you, it seems like you pick people that you like and then you find things that work with it, or do you do the opposite? Is that you find things that work and then you kind of put them together? If
I
that made
find things
sense.
it's like in the middle.
Okay.
So like I kind of don't want to use Nappa, but I do find enjoyment using him.
Okay.
I do find some flaws that it overtakes me. It over consumes me, and it sometimes not make me like a character.
Hmm.
But I do my best ability to find what I do like about them. What can I abuse, and what can I do as a whole team?
Hmm.
You know, oh, I found out Nappa goes into Spirit Bomb with base Goku. Let me try this out. Then I find out it only works with medium-sized characters or bigger. Let me see how can I work with this. Stuff like that.
Hmm.
And to answer your question a little earlier, um, so with character development,
Hmm.
I do find people should understand. Look, the so I was when I play with online people and they think they're so good and they trash talking me, especially this is like a year ago. I was a nobody. I'm still a nobody, but I got little fame now at HOC, so people know my skills is not just luck now at this point. I hope whatever.
Sure.
I play online warriors and stuff like that, or people that was really good, and they would be like, "Oh, you only smashing, you only doing this to win." I'm like, so if you know this so-called problem or so-called thing I'm doing, why don't you try to anti me, right? And
Yep.
do something to outbeat me,
Hmm.
because obviously this simple problem is beating you.
Yep.
But with characters for people who I think they should use, no one could ever tell you what characters you should use. I really don't like when people tell you, "Oh, you should use this character," but aren't I beating you 30-1? Especially, that's how I thought. I'm
Hmm.
like, wow, you're so good. Oh wow, I feel like you should use character, or you shouldn't use this character.
Hmm.
But you just lost to me 20 times.
Hmm.
How are you telling me what characters to use when you're using the so-called top tier characters and you can't even beat me with them?
Yeah.
And that was the argument I used to use a lot. It's since I'm in a different environment now. it's hard to bring that up, kinda, because people is paying for money now to win.
Sure.
You know, people is paying for money to get more money and trying to make a name for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't use that same argument.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you should try to find something that you enjoy in the game, or try to find something unique.
Right. I got you.
Right? If you're doing something, trying to make little something off of it, I understand with your conspect. I gotta use the good characters. I gotta do it to win. You know, this life.
Right. I gotcha. So I mean, for people that are trying to that are struggling with like coming up with a team, right? And they're like, well, I like, this is just an example. I like Hit, but I like Vegito, but then I also like Goku Black. But I don't like how Vegito, his assist works, so I think I'm gonna drop him overall as a character. Do you think one thing is enough to validate dropping a character if you like them?
I mean, what you just gave me in that one sentence, probably the best thing that people just legit name 3 characters. Don't give me their downfalls and nothing.
Yep.
Like, yo, does these 3 characters work? I'm like, yeah. It'd be like Vegito, Super Saiyan Goku, and Cell. I'm like, yeah, that could work. I don't see why not.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
You just named great characters. Like, you naming characters, like, maybe if someone gives me like a Krillin, Beerus, or Bardock, I think about it. But people's giving me something like Videl, Bardock, and Super Saiyan Goku. I'm like, dude, that's great. Like I do like the questions where, like, you just say, oh, I don't like his assist. What should I do to overcome it? You know, I do not use characters for 1 or 2 things, maybe.
Right.
Because I feel like that's their big gimmick or their big kit to certain things. I want to use Blue Vegeta. I want to really, really use Blue Vegeta, but his assist is his main flaw right now.
Okay.
And maybe one day they could fix it or whatever, and I'll probably pick him up. But I honestly want to use Blue Vegeta, Base Goku, and Goku Black. I have won many tournaments with Blue Vegeta. He's not a new player to me. He's not a new character to me. And he's Universal Spirit Bomb. He has 50-50.
Oh, I think I have seen that, right? With the Big Bang. Can't you call that after the throw or something like that and one of the Spirit Bombs? There's something with that, right? Or
his second super, when he does the Gatling
gun,
gun,
of course. Yeah.
Universal.
Okay.
And he has command grabs, a frame 1 deflect command grab. If my opponent is throwing Ki Blast, I could go straight into command grab and it deflects everything what you're doing. I used to do a gimmick with him where I could just raw level 1 super, and if I hit my opponent with it, I could do 5k with that 1 level 1. It's ridiculous. I love that character, but because of that assist, I just don't want to feel like I work harder or work. I just don't feel like I'm not ready for that yet. Basically, it's just not. I'm not mentally prepared to get frustrated and then put myself down. Like, damn, this assist is holding me back. You don't want to ever feel like something is holding you back, ever.
Okay.
And that's. I'm glad you mentioned that, because I do feel like that for one character in the game.
Okay. So, if you think for most characters that's probably not the case, though, like how we mentioned.
Yeah, a lot of assists and characters is really balanced, honestly. If at this point, if Krillin hits you with the 2M, he's doing 5k.
Sure.
Almost by himself, like with 1 assist.
Yeah.
There is certain characters where there's point thriving, where that's easy to settle. You know, it's very easy. Like Videl is very point thriving. Who else? I can't think of anyone right now. There's a couple. 17 and Videl. Let's just say those 2. Not very good characters, but they are point thriving, where they kind of need assist to extend their combos and to do kind of more optimal stuff. Unlike Vegito and Cell, and even Bardock in the corner now, because people learned and found out combo routes where they could basically just do 5-6k by themselves.
Right.
Jiren is another perfect example where he could be by himself. He doesn't want to be by himself as anchor, but he could to do a lot of damage.
Okay.
So that's another topic where, how do I feel where each character goes and belong? But a lot of the characters is honestly mid.
I was gonna say, you're getting into exactly what I was gonna say for that is for. I love that you went into this. So you have base Goku point, which people will focus on. Well, when certain characters die, then he gets stronger. So he's better mid or anchor because he gets stronger. But like you mentioned, that you're looking at more their full kit, not just one thing that's very obvious in front of your face, right? So yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
no, I was blind. I was blind by that too.
Mm-hmm.
I used to tell people he's better mid or anchor because he technically gets stronger.
Mm-hmm.
But having a super that only benefits when someone is dead, I realized once I picked them up, I realized that well, that isn't the case anymore. I was blindsided by that too because of a simple mechanic they threw in. But as a character who has a lot of utility and his neutral is probably top 5 in the game now, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Because he has Spirit Bomb or Spirit Ball.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah,
called
yeah.
Spirit Bomb, but I like to call it Spirit Ball to know the difference.
Yep.
It eats out every projectile in the game,
It's
and
all.
even yeah, so you could have 20 beams out. So
Yep.
you could call out 2 beam assists and do your own beam, and it will beat that out.
Yep.
Clean. And it even clashes with level 1s.
Mm-hmm. Isn't
So
it?
if you do
Well, even with one charge of it, does it beat all the Kamehamehas? I don't know if it was
yeah,
one or two. Oh, it's even
yeah,
one.
so
Okay.
even with the level 1 charge,
Yeah.
and you do a level 1 Kamehameha with Super Saiyan Goku, it will clash out.
Mm-hmm.
I love showing that to people in my stream.
Mm-hmm.
But it tracks, it follows you, and it has no scaling.
Mm-hmm.
So if I hit you with the Spirit Ball, you're basically taking 6-7K easily.
Yeah.
With base Goku as point, I feel like I could open up people easier. He has some nice highs, some nice lows. He has a command grab,
The grab. Yep.
which is really fast and unique. Even though Blue Goku has command grab, it is hard for him to go in and stay in with the pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Base Goku, he could really keep his turn and keep his opponents guessing. He even has a couple of moves to bait people who are smashing buttons, it could bait sparking.
Mm-hmm.
His shoulder charge, because he has a shoulder charge that he backs up
Yep.
and then elbows you, and then like a combo from there.
Uh-huh.
A lot of people don't even know, and I do it once or twice in a tournament because
Sure.
I don't want them to get accustomed to it. He has a DP, but it's like a secret DP. So basically, when someone tells you DP in Dragon Ball,
Mhm.
like Vegeta, is invulnerable, right?
Right.
And it leaves blue health, 100% blue health for your opponent.
Mhm.
So if you DP someone with Vegeta and then Sparking and do 80% of the health, their whole health is going to be blue bar. But with base Goku, when you do his shoulder charge, his medium and heavy shoulder charge, when he backs up, he actually becomes immune to everything.
Oh, okay.
So basically, there's times where it looks like your opponents mess up a fuzzy or mess up a Oki when your opponent snap my base Goku in,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just me doing EX shoulder charge, and basically you missing your attack on me, and I have a chance to hit you.
Huh. Okay.
So I bet a lot of people don't mention that because they don't know what's going on in that situation on stream or stuff, you know?
Right. I gotcha.
But you didn't even know about that, right?
No.
His shoulder charge. So that means if I have godlike reaction or knowing a 6M is coming, base Goku could actually react to it and DP shoulder charge and then combo off of you. I did that once to Sage when I was fighting him last week. And even you should have saw his face. He was so surprised on how I was able to take my turn back and hit him and still get a full combo from it.
Mm-hmm. And
So,
this was last week when you won, right?
Yeah, so
Okay.
I think it was in Renner Finals when I did that to him. And
I'll try to find the clip and post it down below so people can see that for sure.
It's really cool on what characters could do.
Mm-hmm.
People still don't know that even with base Goku, he has tools that really shuts down a lot of people.
Sure.
His beam got faster, so his beam is actually better than Super Saiyan Goku. That was one of my things back then. That's why I didn't like using him a lot. But his beams is really like crackhead speed now. It's not as good as Goten's, but it's better than Super Saiyan Goku, and not as good as Krillin and Goten's. If you aim his beam down, he has a hard knockdown.
I was gonna say I saw you do that, and I was like, wait, did he slide after that? Because I was
Yes, the
confused
bonus
after.
has slide and knockdown.
Okay.
Even though it's hard for him to do stuff from it,
Right.
if I want to get base Goku out,
Mm-hmm.
I could DAC and the opponent is sliding down, and
Right.
the DAC could hit my
It'll
opponent.
connect for that. Gotcha. Okay. I did see that within one of the games that I was watching you play very, very recently, and I was like, wait, is that actually put him in the knockdown state? Because I didn't know that for that. So, okay.
It's cool.
Yeah.
It's situational, but it's good to have. Technically, Goku base Goku has 3 silent knockdown moves.
Okay. Damn. Yeah.
Four technically, but if you use 1 silent knockdown, you still have a 2nd silent knockdown, which I don't think any character has. Maybe, I don't know. I don't think, because if you use a silent knockdown but if you pop your opponent back up with an assist,
Mm-hmm.
you usually don't have another silent knockdown.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that character is done with that. But I think base Goku has 2, unlike anyone else. But I could be wrong, but I'm not too sure.
How do those work? Like, what move would be the first knockdown, and then what's the second one?
So, for example, let's just say, for example, I do 2H.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you smash them up and then smash them down. You know how the screen pans out and then it slides them down.
Yep.
And for some odd reason, you pick them back up with base with a beam assist and keep going with it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I do Kami Kamaha with base Goku down. I still get the slide knockdown.
Oh, okay.
So
I
then
gotcha.
I could DAC.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe some other characters. Oh no, that's a lie. GT Goku has like 10 of them. Never mind on that. GT Goku has like 20 of them.
All right.
Dumb.
But yeah, I like all the stuff that you're mentioning for characters. I feel that so many of these characters aren't not fully explored, but people will voice their opinions very strongly on them for a lot of their tier lists. For saying someone like base Goku's low because of this, or Nappa's low because of this, Goku Black. I think people are kind of getting that Goku Black's not as bad.
It's
but
getting annoying to see Goku Black up, but
yeah.
that's because Kami's putting in more work,
Yep.
and Sonic Fox is now using him, so that
I did
does
see that,
encourage the boost rate. But like you said it earlier, it depends on who uses who, and it's just a simple fact that it's that simple. And no matter in life, video games, or anything, people will follow that one player and really will do what that one player says.
Yeah, no, I got you for sure on that. That's it's a little unfortunate thing that people might limit themselves for what they'll see and think. Yeah.
One thing I did, there was like 20 tournaments ago, very early when I won my first few tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
And two, you also asked this earlier too, the other things I used to do competitively and stuff. I've been playing, like I said, video games. I have older brothers. My older brother's like 10, 12 years older than me.
Mm-hmm.
So, they'll beat my ass. I'll be playing King of Fighters. I also play a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh back then, card games.
Mm-hmm.
And many things. And, that didn't discourage me. It was like, nah, my brother didn't hold back on me. And I was able to compete with him sometimes, and even his friends. And I'm 8, 9 years old, and he's like 16, 17. I am able to give them a challenge, and that's probably because he never hold back on me. He never baby me, and he let me do what I got to do to probably have fun. Some people have learning gap, and that's fine. There's a kid that goes to HOC. I think someone cousin or something. One of the workers that helps Bum.
Sure.
And he looks like he's only 14, 15, and he busts some ass.
Yeah.
He be busting some people ass who've been going to tournaments for like a year now. And I'm not saying those people are bad, but sometimes you just have to learn and grow on your own, and that's fine. Like I said, I mentioned I play Yu-Gi-Oh. I seen when meta is meta, when one deck is very good.
Yep.
But one thing I always will mention and love from old school and new school and card games or even video games, there is always that one anti-rogue person.
Yep.
There's always that one deck in Yu-Gi-Oh that's like, no one heard of this. No one was like, what is this? Why is this winning? Why did this came second place at World Regionals that happens once a year, and everyone is mind blown.
Right.
And then guess what? What happens a week later?
Comes up.
Everybody has it. And then Bandai and Konami will have to ban and limit some cards because that one guy made one card or two cards that no one even saw and changed the whole meta. And honestly, I feel like I did that in Dragon Ball, and it felt really good. It felt really, really accomplishment because honestly, no one in their moms was using Android 17. And I won some big tournaments when Nakio was there. I won some big tournaments when Sage was there, and some big guys. And I have people like you said, and a lot of other people who was just like they only watch it because of me now, or they really just they really enjoy it a lot more when they see me kick some ass with the characters I use. And my friend makes a joke about that at nowadays because you never seen you when you go online you see X amount of characters, right? One day you just saw like 17 players, just like what's going on? And who knows? It probably wasn't me. It probably was. But it felt nice that maybe I changed more fan base and more people to be more encouraged to use other characters, and that just felt good because I seen it in my whole life. I seen how Ultimate Marvel, or even the original Marvel vs. Capcom 3, one or two people made a character shine, even though they couldn't. Wait. Let me pause that for a second. I love I love this topic because 1 second. Let me fix that. I love talking about that because Dominion, New York guy, he discovered what Morgan kind of could do. Right? Morgan was a very cheap character in Ultimate Marvel. He kind of demonstrated that, but it didn't. It took until Chris G to shine with Morgan
to really make it happen. To
do the things that he was doing with her just seemed like, how do you win? And then guess what? 2 years before Ultimate Marvel, let's just say die, because that game will never die, finally wasn't at its peak no more. A guy named Ryan came with Morgan and was just doing phenomenal things with her. Was doing things like, wow, there's more you could do with this this woman. Like, and then to make it even, to make the cherry on top, he was using Chun-Li. 8 years, no one in the world tried to use her. Like, no one. Like, there was characters you just never saw, and he won Evo with Morgan, Chun-Li, and Phoenix, and it's rare to see something. It's rare to see an old game for 8 years to still be developing, growing, and changing, and it's cool. I like that. I really like how you see one team, 2 years later, a different team. The meta is changing all the time.
So for that, then, I guess, because when was the last time that game would have had a patch then? It would have been a while ago, is that right?
Oh, the last time that game had a patch was 6 years now, or 7.
So for the current way that Fighters is, because we're not going to get another patch until apparently the World Tour is over, right? So, Janemba?
Oh, you mean like game changing?
Yeah, for changing characters and stuff like that, right?
Tweaks here and there. I hope they do a little minor adjustment that could help the game beneficial.
Okay.
They made a couple of game balance patches when the first season patch characters was coming out. But very slowly, just minor things.
Right.
But they do always announce when they make a big game change.
Right.
So maybe 2 characters from now, 3 characters from now, who knows?
So I'll try to go through this and try to remember this correctly for it. So how do you think we're going to probably see the game change within the next couple of months? Because as you're mentioning, for Marvel, even though there hasn't been a patch in years, you're still discovering things, you're still finding things, right? So do you think people are going to shy away from certain things for Fighters and then go into something else? What do you think we might see more of, like, moving forward then?
I do feel like, or at least I will hope. I mean, look how fast the scene changed when GT Goku come out. No one barely used him, but good month he came out, everyone is using him. People seeing his pros and his cons. And there's a lot of team changing. Kill Sage using Team Gohan. There's more Frieza players. Shanks
Broly's, it
at
seems, as well, too.
CEO
Yeah.
made it to top 8
Yeah.
with 18. With 18, and a lot of people dropped 18. So stuff like that makes it really more inspirational. Even like, I'm a tournament player and I'm using low team characters, and it's still inspirational because it's not just for me, it's about the community of fighters.
Yeah.
People like you is what keeping us playing and learning new things, because Bandai ain't doing nothing.
Unfortunate.
Those companies ain't doing nothing. The ARC system is what's doing stuff, but it wasn't for us doing what Bums is doing. HOC, House of Chaos, is doing locals every week and keeping the game alive. Then it wouldn't be people wouldn't go out their way to learn new things. People wouldn't understand, wow, this does not work at a different type of scene, or I would have to learn to mix it up because my opponent learned faster than the people I play at home. So it really changes the scene really fast. So in a month or two, when Janemba comes out, I think we are going to see more characters, more different type of teams. Probably still no Krillins, but maybe more Beardses, more 18s, maybe even more 16s. Anything could happen. Someone could discover one cheap trick, and boom, that character become reliable. That character becomes useful and consistent.
Okay. So I guess because we're coming up on an hour pretty soon, who's the main character that you think is probably the most slept on right now? I'm thinking that it might be somebody that you're playing, maybe like Base Goku, or is there somebody else that you think is really underrated in your opinion, or a couple if you want to list off a few?
So I could tell you within the patch notes, the most character that got the most beneficial, most changes, and probably the most liable character. That's the word I'm looking for. Liable is probably Base Goku and Blue Goku.
Okay.
Base Goku, what he could done in season 1 and what he could do now in season 2 is really different. I could probably even say 70% of betterness. Like as a character, there's always ups and downs with balance patches, but I feel like with Blue Goku and Base Goku, they had so much. They had 90% of just greatness about that character. I mean, there's even a lot of things I'm doing with Base Goku that I just don't do yet because there was so much in this patch alone that made this character so different. He was a new character almost. He has a touch of death with no sparking. Easy to do, 2 bars. He has a solo touch of death, 1 bar.
1 bar, Jesus, okay.
1 bar, solo touch of death. That means if I touch you with 1 2M, you blow up and you die. And that's very scary because there's times where you need to get that 1 hit because they're saving sparking and they just like, oh, he can't kill me. I have 2 or 3 hits before, I could lose. But no, imagine getting hit and then all of a sudden you lost. That's very scary. That's why people are using GT Goku, because he could do that, but Base Goku could do that too. And with less bars, but it's not as easy. So I understand. Blue Goku, he has solo combos now. He has shoulder loops. He has highs and lows, command grabs that's safe damn near. A self teleport from back or forth. So you have to choose what direction to block. And he's plus. So that means if you block it, it's still his turn. It's a lot of things like that what makes a character ridiculous, but people are just overseeing it. Blue Goku shoulder charge, when he becomes like the blue aura.
Yep.
He's frame 1 deflect projectiles. So that means if my opponent, let's just say perfect example, Frieza or Broly, and they're just spamming it. You see mad key blast coming out. You are able to, let's just say you're human, right? We're all human, and you're not always able to react to it, but you're able to block it and then deflect. and then when you're deflecting, you could still shoulder charge within the animation them
Within that,
attacking you.
right? Sure.
So basically, you mid screen, you block it like a human being,
Mhm.
and then you deflect it once and then shoulder charge because you train yourself to do that because you had enough time to block it, and you hit them with that. Boom, you got 5 or 6K because of that, and because you did that once or twice, and if they're human and not dumb, they will not do it as much.
Right.
They will tell themselves, "Wow, he could punish me for it. Wow, no other character could do nothing about it. They can't 2H it. They can't do nothing because the reaction from a super dash is a lot different, and they're not ready for it." So stuff like that makes a character go into the ground
Mhm.
or shine and outbeat a lot of characters, right?
Yeah, I mean, if considering that you explore that, yeah, which I think that
Exactly.
a lot of people
I mean,
probably don't.
look at you know about the melee scene.
Yes, for sure.
I mean, then all I have to say is look at Jigglypuff. I did a lot of history on Hungry Box.
Mhm.
Appreciate the guy. Sucks for his downfalls and upfalls, and you know you do what you gotta do. You do what you gotta do. But a character no one even thought of 5-6 years in the game,
Mhm.
he came in, and people was like, "Yo, who thought Jigglypuff is viable?"
Yeah.
At one point, they wanted to ban her, which is ridiculous because Wobble is a thing with ice climbers, whatever. But he was taking advantage of one, maybe two good things of that one character
Mhm.
because we all know her up B was ass, her neutral B was ass. So that means that's already two moves that's very useless. So
Mhm.
you already have two moves that's basically garbage. Her other kits was very so small where you had to take advantage and exploit the 3 or 4 things that was very good about her.
I think I
And
get you.
boom, Hungry Box made it work.
Yeah.
Same thing with Peach with Omada. I follow people. Even though I might not be a competitive player in those games,
Yeah.
I could tell you history of Marvel, Melee, even freaking Marvel Capcom 2, JoJo, like Guilty Gear, Blaze. I could tell you and see these growth and tell you what I love about each and certain scene.
Mhm.
And in Melee, it was to see, wow, in 8, 10 years, 12 years now, almost, how long the game in? Only 2 people in the world probably could only use Jigglypuff,
Yeah.
and probably like only 2, 3 people in the world could only use Peach.
Mhm.
That's mind blowing.
Yeah.
Everyone else had to go with Fox and Falco and I can't even think of anyone else. And Moth.
Oh yeah, yeah, Mark.
Those
For
3
sure.
characters, only 3 characters for 8 years. And you telling me that these 2 guys who made these 2 characters work and outshine these 3 busted
Mhm.
characters, and they won. They won Evo. They won
Yeah.
CEO. That's inspirational. That shows you a character with no patches, with a lot of game breaking bugs and things that made it. See, in that game, when a character is trash, they're trash for a reason. When characters are trash now, they have their flaws. Yes, patches could fix them, but right now, sometimes you might could find something to exploit.
Yeah.
It's not always like that. Don't get me wrong. It's not always like that. But there is times where people just don't see what they could do, and one guy could find out.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
I mean, recently we're even seeing not you, of course, but the Pikachu player because he won the summit recently,
yeah,
and
he's
then
another perfect example.
Wizrobe has been really up there for Captain Falcon because he actually beat Hungry Bots at that one major. Was it Smash and Splash? I think.
That sounds familiar. I know he got salty in one of them, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, but so I mean, Falcon hasn't won a major in. Oh God, I forgot how many years they said. They said it was like 15 years. It was a really long time.
Yeah,
And
and like I said, Melee
yeah.
is a game where you could just do 10 years of history, and you could see it's the same thing like in Ultimate Marvel. Things changes. A game with no patch.
Yep.
A lot of support makes a game with characters. It takes years and years and years to just find out, wow, this is really good.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Would you say that you? I guess we can try to wrap this up then with this one. Would you say that you try to stay ahead of the game as far as for with certain pits and what you try to use for your strengths or when you're trying to pit characters? Because how you mentioned back with the Yu-Gi-Oh example, or the unknown deck, right? People underestimate it or don't have that familiarity. Do you think that you try to stay ahead and try to find what's going to eventually be coming around, or on the up
What
and?
I think this is a perfect way to end it. So quick mention in Yu-Gi-Oh, there is meta decks. So let's just say tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. So let's just say S tier, A tier, B tier. But there's also a tier list separate from that called rogue list. So it's a rogue deck. Doesn't mean they're bad, doesn't mean that they're greatest. They are just decks that could do
Oh,
stuff
I,
and
I get you. I
surprise.
get you. Yeah.
So I just feel like I'm kind of doing that. My characters ain't the bad. They ain't the worst. They not the slowest. They can't always get fuzzy. It's not like I can't, do damage with them and stuff like that. So maybe I feel like having the three characters the way I put them in together is more of a rogue type strategy. Because having Goku with Bardock, or having Goku Black, or even base Goku with Bardock and Goku Super Saiyan is not a bad team. Having one of the characters I have, and A or S tier team is doesn't really hold it back actually. But having the three characters in the order I have it doesn't say it also holds it back, but it has a unique feel, taste, flavor to it, and it could probably do something unique that no other team, even a top tier team, could do. So a top tier team character could do something that my team can't do, but I have that rogue element where I could do something that's very special, and it will outclass you. It will outplay that strategy that you have.
Okay. Well, I like that. Yeah, that's I mean, hell, that's kind of inspirational for people that want to play something that they probably think, oh man, I can't play this, or oh man, this character is not good for anything. So, all right, well, if you want to give any shout outs to anybody or anything like that, feel more than free to go ahead. And then, yeah.
Before we go, because I'm gonna play this game called Lethal League. It's a great game. It's very easy. Just type it up. Anyone that's curious. But shout outs to the people at HOC, and those guys. They like family. We be just chilling there talking about life, family, friends. It's not always about tournaments. It's not always about games. We do have our own life. I do have a kid. I still gotta raise a kid. Still have to feed her and stuff. So shout out to people who joined my stream, because for you guys, I don't like labbing. That's a joke now. With all the people who plays with me, they know they joke about that, because it's true. It's not a joke, but I don't lab. I don't be in the lab and stream. I go to lab to find out something for 10 minutes,
Right.
and all my experience is online. Some people, they lab for 5-6 hours. I don't do that.
So real quick on that, actually, you
We
reminded
shouldn't do
me.
that.
Well, you reminded me of something. So half the combos you come up with, are those on the fly? Because I'm thinking he cannot lab that. He cannot be labbing that.
That's from playing through people online.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, that works. Swear to God, if you watch my streams,
Yeah.
I say that a lot. But like, yo, that works. And then my friend wanted to be a dickhead. Shout out to Thief, Shadow Thief. He'd be like, yeah, that's what happens when you don't lab and stuff like that. So no, you hear that a lot in the stream. And I like it because it's actually not proof, but it's just when you are recording yourself, and and you think about it more, and be like, yeah, I guess I do discover these doing gameplay. I discover I discovered with Nappa, I have a frame 1 deflect. When he does his 5S and he swipes his hand and then he throws the key blast.
Yes.
I could press the button as soon as his key blast is this close to me, and it deflects it. So I could use it as an anti key blast neutral.
Yeah.
So his neutral is actually better than most people think. But I didn't discover that until a week ago, 2 weeks ago, to Childish Vegito, because he came to my house and I just randomly did it. So I just, I didn't know it happened. I was like, whoa, this works. And then I went to training mode to make sure it worked. And I just went back to playing him, and I started trying it more and more in game.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out to my guys that helps me play. And Yeah, appreciate it. It was really nice talking with you.
Yeah, same for you. Make sure that you do follow Axeice. As I mentioned, I'll post the links to his Twitter, his Twitch. Make sure that you watch Bum at the HOC and everything. Great guys out there. And we'll catch you guys next time then.
Wait, one more thing.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, one more thing. Lately, I've been doing a thing called custom tournaments and DBFZ for PS4. A lot of people don't know about it, but you could do custom tournaments if you have X amount of people. It's like arena based, but you need X amount of wins to make it a top 8.
Yep.
So sometimes I think my highest count was like 22 people.
Oh shit! Yeah.
And it was a lot of good players. Like I couldn't sleep on them. I couldn't be on autopilot. And it's good to see that these players are fighting each other.
Yeah.
And learning from these good players, and a lot of them got good connections, which we need. And it's cool, and I'm trying to do this more consistent. So if you guys want to try that, join me, and we could talk about that more.